Good night. It's 11 past 6 now. I just woke up. This shit got me out of bed for this. I needed to go out of bed to record this. I had the inkling because I had a dream. In this dream I was my mind is a bit blurry. I need to admit, like I have gone to the pub yesterday, so please forgive me if I if I don't make myself completely clear at this time, but I will try my best. I'm sitting here in my underpants, so but I had a dream. Whoa. I had a dream in which I was walking with I can't remember like much of the details of it, to be honest, but I was walking with some acquaintances of mine, some former friends of mine, and I had dreamt about them in the past. It's not really that relevant to be honest, but I'll just go on. I had dreamt about them in the past, like everyone does, right? And those they were also not particularly nice dreams. In between those, with which included them, but this one was actually very nice. I was just I don't know, I was just chilling with them, and we were walking I don't know, through like an old kindergarten, not the one I went to, but the one to which a lot of my other friends went to in the village I lived in. And I was also like, we were just having fun. I was impersonating this Dutch comedian Hans Theeuwen. And then I don't know entirely what happened from then, but I was talking to so I was just having fun. That is what I can remember. It was just an I would say ordinary dream, and a nice one up to that point. Nothing particular in that. Then suddenly I was talking to a girl, and I was talking to this girl about how I had a sort of surgery in which my I don't know what I think there's not really another word for this, but the corpus callosum, that's the the brain area in your head, like the one in here, that at this place, sort of, that connects the two hemispheres, like a really thick bundle of vessels. Is that one of the main pathway of the human brain? Like, if I don't think it's that vital. I think there are people who do not have a corpus callosum in the way that supposedly healthy people have it, and I think that those can still function. I'm not sure actually about that. I should search that up before I say anything about that actually, but it doesn't really matter in this case, in at least in my dream. What happened next after I told that, and thus I became aware of that fact myself inside my own dream. You know how dreams work, right? That so apparently I had something with my brain, some sort of condition. I was not entirely sure up to that point what it was. Like, then you could say something with the corpus callosum, but whatever. I still didn't know what the fuck was up, so to say. And then I continued my conversation with this girl, and there were repetitively long pauses in the dialogue on my part, in which I was aware that I really needed to find words for what I wanted to say. And that took some time longer than apparently this girl was familiar with in a conversation with someone else. Of speaking which, we are now already 8 minutes in our video. So of course I became aware inside of that dream, inside of that conversation I had with this girl, that apparently the complications of the surgery I had were more striking, if that's the right word, than I was aware of myself inside of the dream. And so she said, at a point, she asked me, so do you notice, right, that you actually fall still all the time, and you have trouble finding words for what you're trying to say to me, right? then I woke up actually, which is 10 minutes ago now. But I hope, and I think I do, I hope I make myself clear to what the fuck for an impact that dream or realization was. Not so much had, but was. And the actual wording doesn't matter, but I'm just trying to make it literarily somewhat more attractive, perhaps. I lay in bed, and the first thing that came to my mind was look, this is the real deal. We are made to believe that we need to go to, we need to enjoy good education, and let's say, for instance, I myself have studied neuroscience, so actually I should know what the corpus callosum is exactly, but I don't. And so, for instance, I have listened for 3 full years of my life to psychologists and neuroscientists who have studied the brain for a considerable amount of time, telling me how supposedly my mind should work, should function, right? I've spent 3 years of my life on that now, actually more. I'm still interested in psychology and neuroscience and philosophy of mind. But now, so tonight, I was being made aware of the fact that apparently my own mind can simulate, right, a scenario, a story, which can enlighten me of the fact, let's say, that not, in fact, the also, for instance, what's being romanticized, AI, is not is not intelligence, and that the Marxist idea of that like capitalism alienates ourselves, whatever that may mean, right? Or at least Marx perhaps has a good definition of it. I'm not really sure what it is, but it doesn't matter if you're into sort of Eastern philosophy and stuff. You know that the self is a crazy concept. But the Marxist idea of that you're being alienated from yourself, yourself is being alienated from yourself, from another person, from your the species or something. I believe that he also says the species, Homo sapiens or something, right? And also like most importantly, your job and your work itself. So the thing you have produced by means of your work, your labor. I think he says that you are alienated from your labor, and secondly from the things that you have produced. But this dream made me thus aware of the fact that like this Marxism, the essential underlying idea actually is, it starts to becomes the day is dawning, to say that correctly, slowly but readily, but that's the underlying idea therein is not that it should not be a sort of ideology. It is Marxism, in which you try to implement rules that should be able to counteract like this alienation, because, as this dream taught me, we are not alienated from yourself, the other, the species, your labor. We are alienated from our intellect. I hope I'm making myself clear. You, like, the intellect has become commodified. If you're having a good brain, as I apparently do have, I needed to choose from like a limited catalogus of bachelors around the world, around the globe. I could choose if I wanted to. Not that I'm so privileged, but everyone could if you have the money for it. Okay, I'm a bit privileged, but and I chose the Bachelor in Neuroscience, right? Actually, that choice was to a certain degree forced upon me, right? I couldn't really choose otherwise. Like, also from a pragmatical standpoint, why the fuck should I not give in to that sort of force of society that makes me choose to opt for a scientific or other endeavor, because of course I can make money with that later, and society is such and such structured at this moment that I cannot really do anything different, right? uh, where was I going? Yeah, I was talking about, so the intellect has become commodified. I don't know, this idea so popped in my head, so I don't know what the if scholars already have this in their minds and whether there's being people already theorize about this shit, but like I also, this struck me the most. I became aware of the fact that if you do start to become physically impaired, in this case like intellectually, through this dream I had, right? Like, for me, my whole fucking ego and life would be raised to the ground, actually, because what I say, I have a bachelor in neuroscience and stuff. And that's not the only thing, right? Because it depends on the condition that consequently I then supposedly should have, but or run one, this just in general, but like depending on the condition, you, I don't know, you need to lay on a bed in the hospital for I don't know, the rest of your life. If you're in a vegetative state, if I say that correctly, right, or something like, and or you're in the United States, I know that you're very, very unlucky if you should be faced with that this luck, then of course disgrace in this case, because there, like, the social system is not so arranged as it is here in the Netherlands, and you should I think it is not also not, how do you say that, insured. So there here you see totalitarianism at its best, right? So all the genetically man, all the genetically impaired people are being filtered out, marginalized, and those things. So to create the Übermensch. That are the states of affairs in the United States, I know, to some degree, at least. But yeah, or I don't know, perhaps you become schizophrenic, right? Or something like there are entire institutions that have been built in order for such people to be taken care for, and to be honest, essentially to protect society as a whole from those people, right? But you see, where I'm going to is that you have this fact, so that the intellect is commodified, and like the whole of our existence depends on our intellectual capabilities. And the second point is that, which I made actually as the first, but it didn't came out really well, I now see, because I should have first talked about the second point. But the first point was that what was it again? Where was I talking about? People are starting to wake up here now also. Please forgive me. I don't know what I was talking about. I guess this is the whole point, right? Actually, that yes, I now know again, because there falls for a prolonged time a stillness. The first point was that I have studied neuroscience for 3 years and stuff. I'm still interested in that stuff for in case of philosophy of mind and psychology, and I still myself write philosophical essays about those things. And so supposedly I have listened to people telling me how my mind works for 4 or 5 years now. But the point is, as I became aware of during my dream, because of my dream, since my mind had apparently came up with the idea that it was a good idea to make this me aware that the intellect has been commodified, and my egoic existence, my whole ego, depends entirely upon, and that's not only mine egoic existence, not merely egoic by the way too, depends on my intellectual capabilities, purely intellectual capabilities, not about, I don't know, social intelligence, social skill, I don't know, all those other things, diplomacy, I don't know, I'm just saying something, right? Only about intellectual capabilities. I must add, by the way, that's my existential experience of a 23 years old guy in the Netherlands, at least, who struggles to find a bachelor and a master's that he really likes. But yeah, so there is it is not about every day. Let me put it this way. Every day you have the chance to not to use AI, not to use the knowledge that you've acquired throughout the years, for instance, because you've studied neuroscience and you know apparently everything about the mind. And it is also not to implement ideological ideas, standards, principles, whatever you may call them, in society, such as Marxism tries to do, right, to a certain degree, albeit academically, unfortunately, perhaps. Let's say each day you can opt for those 3 options, or you realize that there is an intelligence, there is a power, which we name the intellect, yourself, and everyone has that. Everyone has a mind that can simulate stories, realities. Think about Marxism, for instance, though. That can simulate realities that are apparent, very lucid, right? Very real. That's at least how it seems. All. For instance, dream. For instance, memory, to a certain degree. For instance, your imagination, right? Look at what fucking Tolkien has done, right? For instance, you could of course name any literary genius. But the mind is a tool which you can use, and you can learn about that every day, each moment, and from yourself, most importantly, because you have that mind. All psychology at roots tries to do is to look inwardly by studying then empirically other minds from other people, but still they're trying to sort of let's say sort of do surgery and cut the head open, look what's beneath them, what's beneath this apparent flesh and bones, right? And what are these mental entities, and what is a belief, and what is a memory, what is imagination, what is a dream even, right? But yeah, it's all about going inward, right? Every day, every type of experience, so every mental state, every memory, every dream, every desire, every imagination, right? All those things, you can construct them so that they will function for your own benefit, and then you don't have to rely on psychologists, Marxists. You do not even have to play the game of commodifying your own intelligence, to be honest, because then you can become aware of the fact that, for instance, in the United States, they are marginalizing groups of people because they think that if you are not able to contribute anything to society by means of your capabilities, and those are mainly intellectual, right? Think of most paradigmatically, right? The mental impairments. So I don't know, schizophrenia, psychopathology, what's the psychosis? Is what I was searching for. Yeah, right. look, it's not about going to a park bench and sitting there passively for I don't know how long, and expect then that you're going to have a scientific discovery passively, right? That it just falls into your lap. I don't know, let's imagine for instance that you're there are two birds that are very like those of Darwin, right? With two different beaks, and they're pecking different nuts, and then you watch them and you see them eating different nuts, but that on zich, that in itself, of itself, of course, says nothing if there is no intellect for it to observe and to connect, associate certain dots, ideas with it, so to be able to construct a theory of it, right? That's an intellectual endeavor. And you're certainly not going to discover this if you're busy making sure that your algorithm is ensuring that you enjoy your feed of Instagram while you're doom scrolling while you're sitting on that park bench, right? Like the classical neoliberal story. But I myself, I like to sit on park benches very still, and I myself know that there are not a lot of people that do that. I am speaking while being aware of the power of my mind, and that power nobody has over me except from me. I can think whatever the fuck I want. I can discover whatever I want. If I'm free in my spare time, I can study whatever I want. The only thing, it is true indeed, is that I need to make sure that I have spare time. But every fucking one on the planet does that. Every fucking one wants that, right? There's no one that doesn't want spare time. Perhaps you don't really want spare time, it doesn't really matter at this point, but because you already have a job that you really like, that's also perfectly fine, right? That's not really the point. You get the sentiment, the idea that I want to convey. Yeah, and the mind is crazy, dus it can enlighten you by means of a dream. It's just about learning what it can do, the mind. I think that was all. 40 minutes. I hope there's someone so crazy that is going to watch me yap about this stuff for 40 minutes. But yeah, I'm totally not acquainted with video editing, so that's a job for later. Perhaps I can do that later. But I'm going to publish this, so peace out. I'm going to sleep.